Hello, hello, hello. Here we are again. I don't know if there's anybody there. I don't think there is. I think it's just me. On my own. On my own. All alone. Mind you, there are apparently 7 viewers, but I don't know how true that is. Who knows? If you're there, there's nobody there. I'm on my own. La 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 la. Do 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 do. What should we do? What should we do? What shall we do? Not a lot by the looks of it. What do you want to talk about? Anything? Nothing? Everything or nothing? Everything and nothing? We do not know. Well, it certainly is quiet in here tonight. We have a like. That must mean one of the old faithful is present. And says, just watched an hilarious vid. That's nice. That's really great, I guess. Do 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 do. Can you stand on one leg for 10 seconds? That's the question tonight. Apparently, if you can't balance like a flamingo in your 60s, you're going to die. That's what I reckon. Zeb's in, and he's alive. Hooray! Wow, is that research? Researchers in Brazil have discovered that middle-aged people who can't balance on one leg are as likely to die early. They assessed 2,000 people aged 50 to 75, and those who couldn't stand on a leg for 10 seconds were 84% more likely to die within the next decade. This isn't science, it's mumbo jumbo. And says, yes, live at the Glasgow week, playing on the Science Week of Freedom, and you could hear Jonas in the background. Obviously used samples from the album. Really? They're actually like playing to a backing track. Really? Oh boy. I don't think I should investigate. Like I say, I leave that stuff well alone, because, you know, it's yes, isn't it? They're in there a little bit, you know, a little bit sad. We have hot beverage. Sneaking it in. Oh, she snuck it in under the microphone. Very good. Thank you. So anyone out there going to watch? Yes, this week in London. Whoa! Extreme close up. Anyone? Gosh, it's very boring. It's very boring, isn't it? Obviously, we've got no fake accounts this week. And oh no, you retracted it. Live demonstration of stand on one leg, please. I can't. Yes, it is. Yes, has to restart Siberian Control. Apparently, how he's getting senile. Well, again, he likes to speed up and slow down again. That's why I don't want to see yes, because they're not very good. They've had their heyday. They all need to retire, you know. It's done. Or they replace themselves with younger models, you know, younger musicians who might be able to, you know, like a cover band. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Imagine that. Imagine a cover band. I think that's what's going to happen. I think all these bands are just going to have you know, cover versions, just doing the routines over and over again. And that's good if you want to see that. Again, I don't think it's. I don't know. I think we just got to kind of give up. Rene is here. He said evening. Oh come on, where's all the fake muntins? Come on, it's boring without all the fake muntins, isn't it just? Where's Cyrus? I had a bit of a bad back today. Oh, 16 people, only 5 likes. That means 11 people hate us. Zeb says, someone should collect all the Steve Howe footage of him being angry, messing up. Well, you know, you should read his biography. It's a good one. It's a good one. Anyway, I can stand on one leg anyway, no problem. I have no problem standing on one leg, but I can't really do it here. Again, I might knock my coffee over. I'd have to move the chair. There's no chance you might actually see it. I haven't got a lot of space, but... Oh. Look, my leg's up. Don't know if you can see that. Is anyone counting? Is anyone counting? Look, anyone counting? Let's see. Eat your right out, Ian Anderson. All I need is a flute. Wait a minute, I've got my recorder. See, I could be in Jethro Tull. Is it 10 seconds? Is somebody counting? I don't know. Has it been 10 seconds yet? I don't know. I've still got... Look, see? Look, you can see. Look. It doesn't help that I'm wearing black. So see, my leg is up. My leg is in the upright position. Let me adjust the camera. See? You can see my leg has been up the entire time. Can I put my leg down now? Can I put my leg down? Anyone? Can I put my leg down? I think I've done the 10 seconds. Oh, that's better. There we go. I'm going to live forever now. See? Told you it was a load of cobblers. Anyone can do it. If I can do it, then anyone can do it. Oh, whoops, there's lots of guitar over there. Too many guitars. But I can't fucking sell them on eBay. Nobody wants them. Oh, it's all gone a bit shaky cam again. Oh, it's because I've got a Safari open. I should really upgrade my computer. And says there's a great clip of YouTube from San Luis Obispo in 1996 where he tells the spotlight operator he's going to go over and kick him in the head because it left him on him. Oh, I think I've seen that one. What's the vinyl on the left? Well, that one. That one. I've told you how many times it's Laurie Anderson. It's an EP from United States EP, and it's for promotional use only, not for sale. And everyone asked me about that. It's from the box set, which is over there. There, that box set there is that. Why is my computer misbehaving? Why doesn't it like me? Why is it stuttering like a senile old goat? Formula Car says 48 seconds that was. I'm glad somebody was counting. It's stuttering like a poor old thing. I might just stop streaming and adjust my settings. Would that be alright? Maybe I should set it at 30 frames per second. Do you think I can do that? Right, let's see if that's any better. I've gone for a smooth 25 frames a second. I think the 60 frames a second was killing it. On the wall. That wall. Renee says, heard the Smile album yet? The group with Tom York. Well, it's Tom York and it's Radiohead, but with a guy from Thingamajig in it. Well, no, because I kind of spent my money on Record Store Day because there was a Peter Gabriel release, and I haven't got a lot of money to spend on stuff, so because I've spent it all on guitars, and I couldn't fucking sell the guitar on eBay because no one's buying at the moment, which is a bit annoying. But there you go, these things happen. These things are here to test me, aren't they just? Why have I got windows open? Windows open everywhere. Don't forget the Yes Live 2019 where everything goes wrong, and how he's about to introduce Alan White, and fans are screaming. He gets kind of angry, and the rest of the concert is a pure nightmare. Because she said, I didn't think there would be a live stream in solidarity. Like, in solidarity of what? What? Why? In solidarity? What? What's he talking about? Oh, you're talking about unions. I don't believe in unions. Unions are shit. They only serve people like train drivers, and mainly train drivers, because they can affect everyone. The union, I guess it would have been the National Union of Journalists. When IPC Media announced it was offloading an awful lot of staff, and I was one of them. Do you know what the union did? You know what the NUJ did? Do you know what they did? They did fuck all. That's what they did. They did fuck all to help us. They did fuck all to stop anything. You know? Yeah. That was great. That was really, really great. Great. The chapter at the IPC Media were as useful as a proverbial chocolate teapot. No use. And so my view of unions are, well, they're self-serving. You know, these people, I mean, train drivers are on £59,000 a year average, right? I'd like some of that. This household doesn't pull in that kind of money, so I can't sympathise with them. I think they're doing all right, thank you very much. So I can't sympathise with them. Again, I wouldn't mind if they came out in solidarity of everyone, and they said, well, until everybody, every man, woman, and child gets a pay rise, we're going to stay out on strike, you know, and actually use their might to help everyone rather than themselves, you know, then that's that. But Thatcher smashed the unions because the unions got greedy, and I have a very dim view of them. You know, in principle, great idea, but in actuality, they just make rich people richer, as always, because the little people don't tend to have unions, or the unions can't, do anything for them. Because you have to be in a job where people will miss you. Again, me writing for a computer magazine, if I go out on strike, no one's going to miss it. You know what I'm saying? It's only got to be in like service industries, like like the rail workers and anyone, because it's important. It's the lifeblood of the country. You know, when the tubes used to go out on strike, you know, they can do that. It can bring the whole city of London to a standstill because they have that power. You know, but if, I don't know, a cleaner goes on strike, they'll just hire another cleaner. You know, so that's it. Padge says, hey, Grant says lots of some releases are coming out. I've heard a lot. I heard a lot. Looking forward to your reviews of what? I don't know what you're talking about. Chris says most of the drives are ASLEF or not RMT. Isn't RMT on strike? I don't really care. I have zero interest in it. I ignore it. I ignore it. What's the point in taking notice of it? It doesn't affect me. They're not going to get me a pay rise, you know, and I'm not getting on a train anytime soon, so I ignore it. It's of zero interest to me. I just laugh at it and go, ha ha, ha 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 ha. I hear them on the radio bleating on about how badly paid their workers are. And they're like I say, on average £59,000 a year, which is over double the national average wage. Because I think the national average wage is, I'm probably going to get it wrong, I think it's about £24,000 or £26,000. You know, so if to be earning double the national average, I think they're doing all right. You know, that's it. I think they're doing very well indeed. And like I said, this household doesn't pull in nowhere near that kind of money. You know, no one's going to strike for us. You know, when everyone was getting, everyone was getting handouts for the government, there was no increase in carers allowance. You know, for the people who look after disabled folk, no increase for them people. You know, but everyone else got a nice little bonus from the government. because it's always the people at the bottom that get ignored, because they're at the bottom and nobody cares about the people at the bottom, because the people in the middle and the people at the top do very, very well. Padge says, do you think Better Call Saul is just as good as Breaking Bad? Oh, it's better than Breaking Bad. Everyone knows that. Breaking Bad is a story of a psychopath who gets the chance to realise his dreams. Walter White is a psychopath who gets the chance to realise his dreams because of his terminal illness. It kickstarts him and gives him the freedom to act on his psychopathic tendencies. And it's very important. There's an episode in it in the first season series where his old partners offer him healthcare, everything he wants, come back to the company that he founded, that he left under a cloud. We never really find out why he leaves. Was it grey matter? Nobody really reveals why he left under a cloud. Was it a bad romance gone wrong? But they are conciliatory. They owe everything to him. They say, come back. Come back. You don't even have to work. You can just sit in the corner. You can sit at a desk and we will pay for the finest health care for you and we'll help you with this because it's the least we can do. And he turns them down because he is into empire building. He's a psychopath. And if you go into it with that kind of mind, it's a different kind of show. You've got to remember the real protagonist, the person you should be rooting for, is not Walter White. It is, of course, Jesse Pinkman, because he's the one who all the bad things happens to. You see, it's really about him. It's not actually about Walter White at all. There you go. But no, Better Call Saul was a better show. But I think the pacing's off. I think they could have tightened up considerably, but I think they were given 6 seasons series, and so they used it. I think they were only aiming for maybe 4. I think they were only expecting maybe 4 or 5 season series, and I think when they got 6, it was like, what do we do? The whole of season 5 was a big red herring, a big waste of time. They could have compressed a lot of these storylines. We could have got to the meat and potatoes a lot quicker, but like I said, it's drawn out, isn't it? And also, they finally figured out how to write female characters, because female characters in Breaking Bad are written really badly, which I find a problem. And says, listen to John Wetton Battle Lines today, and for a 90s LA Sound A&R record, it's actually damn good. Oh, can't stand it. Find all that stuff utterly dull. But glad you love it. Pegasus says, even Darren, if it's really you. I'm sorry I've been absent the last few weeks. I was hoping I could make the Tros lose a cent. Well, you was in last week, weren't you? Or was you? I don't know. Who knows? Grantman says, after getting let go, I was completely ignored and forgotten by my union, which paid my dues for 31 years. Exactly. This is the thing. It's only when you've been through it. I'd only just joined IPC, so I wasn't a member of that chapter. I'd been a union member for a little bit at my previous job, but I didn't join the chapter because I'd only just joined the company, and I'd only was there for 3 or 4 months. I was going to see how it went, and when I went and I was out. I was out, but I was listening, because again the unions was outside the door every morning saying, they did nothing, because there was nothing they could do about it, because the company pled poverty, and they said, well, it's last in first out, and so because I'd only just joined, I was shown the door. And the unions are really fucking useless when it comes to those kind of things. When they say, oh, well, we're downsizing, blah, 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 it's very hard for them to do anything. And when you're on the sharp end of it, it really does cut. I mean, I was pro-union before that. But when you see them so ineffectively handling a situation, because what are they going to do? Call a strike? No one would have noticed, because the only time we notice strikes are when, like I say, when the rail people go out, and that's about it. or baggage handlers, things that affect a lot of people. But other than that, if your average worker goes on strike, no one's going to notice and no one's going to care. Owen says, Darren, have you ever smoked? I'm day 5 into quitting cold turkey. No, I've never smoked, which makes my diabetes diagnosis even more galling. No, I'm not a smoker, sorry. All my family died of smoke-related illnesses, so that's it. That's all I need. It's never appealed to me. It's never, ever appealed to me. It's not something, I may have puffed on a cigarette or had a cigar out drinking, but even then it was just a few puffs. It's not serious, but it's not something I'd ever, think of doing. And indeed, you should give it up. Or if you want to smoke a pipe. Be a real smoker, proper smoke. Again, you don't get half the chemicals you get in actual pipe tobacco than you get in the manufactured ones. Again, high volume cigarette manufacture is probably responsible for the death of millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people. But hey, it's one way of keeping the population down, isn't it? Anne says, no, he's definitely not a psychopath. Even though he's hated Hank and he couldn't even think about being dead. He went to great lengths to try and save Hank. That doesn't mean anything. Psychopaths can still... You think... see, no, a psychopath does things without regard of consequence, which is what Walter White does in every step of the way along. You need to go and look up what psychopathy is. Psychopaths can still be have empathy for people, but they can have a disregard to certain things when they're fixated on other things. They can pretend, they can do a good facsimile of it, but he has psychopathic tendencies. He's fixated on one thing. He wants to prove to the world that he's the best of the best. He's an empire builder, because if it was just about him getting himself fixed, he just made enough money and paid for his healthcare. But it wasn't about that. It was never about that. It was a midlife crisis meets psychopathy, and there you go. There are many things he does in that show, if you watch it carefully, that are unexplained, that you can't explain, that are unreasonable. Like he lets Jesse's girlfriend choke on her own vomit. You tell me that's not the act of a psychopath? So don't try and defend Walter White. Which guitar am I trying to sell? Which one do you want to buy? I've tried to sell a few of them. I've tried to sell this one. I'm trying to sell this one. I tried to sell that one. And I've tried to sell the Mustang. But people don't want to give me the money I'm asking. They want to kind of go way below market value, and again I think it's the economic situation at the moment. I think a lot of people are selling and not many people are buying, so I can sell vinyl but I can't sell guitars. That seems to be the problem at the moment, but hey, it's not that big a deal. Again, I got the Mustang in because I wanted to try it, and I got it in for a good price, and I thought, well, I'll be able to flip it and maybe lose about 50 quid on it. And the closest I could, one person made me an offer and it's losing 150 quid on it, and that's too much to lose. So maybe I'll just sit on it and hold it for a while, I know, I've got plenty of records, or there's even video games and things to sell. I've got some Switch games I can flog, which the kids have played through. So, there's always something, there's always some junk in the house that I can offload. A house full of shit, gonna need a bigger house. Padge says, I always loved the line he said to Jesse, I'm not in the meth business, I'm in the empire business. Exactly. And that's what it's about. It's about improving, that he's the best in whatever he puts his mind to. And that is what happens in business. Successful businessmen make empires. Imagine, I don't know, the greatest businessman alive, I don't know, Elon Musk. Imagine Elon Musk, right, who seems to have the ability to spin money out of nothing. Imagine if he was a meth dealer. There you go. He'd exercise the same ruthlessness as Walter White. Look what he does with his employees, you know, because there is a level of detachment there. There's a reason he makes money, and there's a reason why people like me don't make money, because I'm not bloodthirsty. You've got to have that kind of killer instinct. And, you know, one of the worst things I had to do when I had the business was actually fire someone, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You know, I gave him every chance to save himself, and he couldn't. So, and I still think about it now. It still makes me uncomfortable, you know. So that's why I'm not a very good businessman, you know, because I think about these things, you know. Yeah, you're getting them mixed up. Psychopaths can have emotions, but they can also become fixated. Psychopaths can look like me and you. They're not. I don't know. The axe wielding nutter. They're not. You know. They're not Norman Bates or you know. They're not the cartoon ones. They're not Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger. They're more complex than that. Psychopaths exist around us all the time. They're usually successful. They're the person that cuts you up at the traffic lights and you for no reason. They're the person that jumps the queue. They're the person that, you know, just gets in your face for no reason. You know, they're everywhere. They exist around us. But they probably come across just like normal people, but there's an element to them that has very little regard for risk or, you know, or consequences, and sometimes that can lead them down very dangerous, bad choice roads. Patch says, Kim is my favourite character in Better Call Saul. Oh, will she end up being your favourite character? My favourite character was Howard, because he represented decency, and his murder represents the death of innocence for that show. And it's going to get a lot darker now he's dead. He was the beacon of hope. He gave Jimmy a chance. He gave Kim a chance. You know, he helped them out. You know, when Chuck did his thing, you know, he took the financial burden of that on. You know, but because they presented him as somebody with privilege, you know, they were toying with us. It was a very good bit of writing, because he was somebody who was, you know, born into the business. Just because you're born into a business, it doesn't mean that you're incompetent. He was never incompetent. He was always utterly professional and cordial, even when people were mean to him. But there's two deaths we see with Howard in that last scene. When he says, "I'm gonna get you," you know, when he vows revenge on them, that's the first death of Howard, because he is a decent man. He wouldn't do that. He'd try and convince them that, you know, look, come on, see it from my side of you. He did it. He tried to give, you know, Jimmy a job. You know, he tried to, you know, help Kim out and this, that, and the other. There are many times when he's helped them, and that's what he'd rather do. He'd rather have people on his side than make enemies of them. And when he does that, that is technically the death of Howard Hamlin, because they turned him into someone else. They broke him. They broke the decent man, and then he had to die because he was dead already. And that's the song, you know, that in Breaking Bad they say that, you know, Heisenberg, he doesn't realise it, but he's already dead. And that was Howard. He was already dead. Once he vowed vengeance on them, he was dead, and bang. And so, yeah, it's a death of innocence. And what we're going to see going back into it is we're going to see everything deconstructed. You're going to see Kim. We still don't know who she is, but Mike's wary of her. He says, you're made of sterner stuff, because he's done a background sweep on her. He knows who she is. Maybe Lolo's done the same. Maybe he knows who she is too. What does he want with them? What does he want with those two people? Because they're just lawyers, you know. He doesn't have any influence over Gus Fring at this point. He's not that chummy with Gus, you know. Maybe to get to Mike, you know. It's an interesting. I don't know what the story is going to be, you know. I'm still. Again, one theory, like the end game of not Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul into Breaking Bad, is that Kim kills Lalo. maybe pulls the gun on Jimmy, and she kills him, you know. And that's why she goes to prison. Who knows? It could be a self-defense thing. I do not know. I think, again, Kim ends up being taken out of the picture, but I don't think she dies. I think she's removed. Or maybe she is. Maybe she's just a really bad person and she's done lots of bad things, and that's what's revealed. Who knows? We'll find out when it comes back. We haven't got that long to go. I think it's only another 20 days, isn't it? Pegasus says it wasn't me, so it didn't work. Well, that's funny, because I could have sworn it was you. Because there was two of you last week, and one swore he was and one swore he was, and but hey, I don't care. You have fun. You have fun with that. Oh dear. Grant says Jesse has many layers to his personality. He's like an onion. It's funny because they were going to kill him off in the first season series. It was going to be his death at the end of it. But they realised that he had a bit of a rapport with Cranston. Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston had a screen chemistry, so they kept him on. I like that. I like the fact that even though they make out that there is a plan, sometimes there isn't a plan. They work things up. Padge says, Walt was a master manipulator. Indeed, he was. He was very good. Definitely not a psycho. I think you need to go back and rewatch it. I would say he definitely is a psychopath, because he behaves in certain ways. There's just certain behavioural traits. If you watch it again, I've watched it a few times. And he's not a character that I enjoy. I mean, okay, first episode. Is it the first episode where they pick on Walt Jr.? Yeah, and he picks on the bullies. Go and watch that scene. Go and watch what he does. There's a little bit of behaviour there, right? I'm not going to explain. You go and watch that scene again, and there's something he does that you look at and go, why does he do that? Why does he do that? Because a father would handle that situation a different way. There's something he does. Go and watch it, and you'll come, and I'll tell you go, there's something not right about this guy. And it isn't falling down. It isn't Michael Douglas falling down. There's your embittered, life hasn't gone right for me, fight back at the world. Falling down, Michael Douglas. Go and watch that one if you haven't seen it already. That's a study in a midlife crisis writ large. I don't think he's having a midlife crisis. I think, well, it might be some of that, and there might be some regret, but I think the cancer diagnosis frees him. It frees a very dark part of his psyche that he's always kept, under wraps. He's a character that is not very likeable, But I mean, they do it with Hank. Hank starts off dislikable. You think, oh God, he's another blowhard. Oh, he's awful. And at the end, you're going, not Hank, because you've seen what he's been through. You've seen he's been damaged by his encounter with the Salamanca twins, and damaged, when he's out in the desert. He's a guy who's got PTSD a number of times, and at the end, when he says, we're already dead. Again, it's another one who's already dead. We're already dead. We're already dead water, Again, it's that theme of already being dead, when a decision has been made. Grant says, greed has no rules or morals. That's what I took away from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Yeah, I guess greed is an element, is an element to it. And I think greed can unlock a psychopathic part of your mind, because some people will do anything for money. And this is what I mean about being a psychopath. You don't necessarily have to be, like I said, an axe-wielding maniac, but a certain thing you can be ruthless over. And money and power and influence can be one of those things. And you can be completely obsessed with it to a point where you have no regard for anything else, and that's psychopathic. Because that's one of the tenets of being a psychopath, is you suddenly lose any judgment when it comes to the consequences of your actions. You just go, and there's also an arrogance to it as well. This is why a lot of criminals display psychopathic tendencies, because they have an inbuilt arrogance. I'm going to get away with this. I'm too clever for the system. They're not going to catch me. And I find it very interesting. And do you know that majority of violent offenders have suffered brain trauma, head injury, usually when they're kids, been hit on the head or, because they reckon normally we're not like this. We're usually, social creatures, but it's the ones who are damaged are literally damaged up here. I watched a very interesting documentary about that. Runar says, have you watched Obi-Wan? Yes. Christian says, speaking of psychopaths, have you been following the January 6 hearings? No? Who cares? It's America. Padge says, Falling Down is fantastic. It certainly is. Anne says, Falling Down is awesome. It's the story of a narcissist who cannot deal with rejection, overration and emotional pain. He's not a narcissist. Again, he's not a narcissist. That's not what happens. Again, we've all had... I think it's a perfect storm of events that finally just pushes someone over the edge. It's meant to be frightening. It's meant to be a horror film. It's meant for men of a certain age to watch that and go, "Oh God, could that be me?" Whereas I think a lot of people go, "Yeah, he's sucking it to the man," And I don't think you're meant to watch it like that. It's a tragedy. He's not a bad man. This is the thing. If you watch it, he's not a bad man. He's somebody who makes, a series of bad decisions, and again, it's that interesting thing of what circumstances could push you over the edge. What circumstances? When you've lost everything, then maybe that's it. If you've got nothing to lose. See, Walter White never had nothing to lose. He still had his family. He still had, his wife. He had his son. He had a baby on the way. But he acts the way he does. Psychopath. See? That's it. And so they're different characters. Runar says the Depp Heard trial got more attention. Yeah, because it's much more fun. It's fun. Anne says, my dog stepped on a bee that day. Cushion says, Depp related, what do you think of Jeff Beck as a guitar player? He's alright, I suppose. Thoughts on death metal? I try not to have any. God, it's really quiet in here tonight. And only 9 likes. God, blimey, that means, God, all those people... Oh, it's 28. I scared one off. That means all those people don't like what I'm doing. Come on, guys. Hit the like button. Oh, okay, I'm gonna run an advert. I'm going to run an advert now. There you go. You get an advert. See, this is meant to be the longest day. Come on, everyone. It's the 21st. It's the 21st of June. Longest day, everyone. Anyone? Anyone? How to kill a conversation. Ask me about death metal. Why would I listen to death metal? Why would anyone listen to death metal? Anne says, sorry we're not good enough company for you. We need to work harder, don't you? Come on, you need to practice a bit harder. The fact that you can't see that Walter White's a psychopath is evidence that you don't pay enough attention. Nice weather? Yeah, it could be, I suppose. Padge listens to death metal. Oh dear, well, I'm sorry to hear that. Fasana says, how's it going? Oh, it's going great. We've got how many people in? 30 people in and only 12 likes. God damn it. It's a bit quiet. There are people in, but I don't think anyone wants to talk. Or maybe they're just not giving me the topics. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm a bad host. Maybe there's just nothing juicy enough for me to get my teeth into. I don't know. Grant says, lots of my friends' children do not even know who Paul McCartney is. Exactly. It's only because my kids are forced to listen to the Beatles. I strap them down to the chair, a bit like that scene in Clockwork Orange, and I pin their ears open, and I make them listen to the Beatles. Manky Pete says, are you prepared for the new lockdown? It doesn't affect me. Doesn't affect me. The first ones, do you know what? My life carried on as normal. Isn't that wonderful? Padge says, I think they're shy. I do too. Corbell likes the Carpenters, apparently. Is there anybody out there? Do I like any of the Paul McCartney solo albums? I like the Best of Paul McCartney, or Wingspan. I like that one. Again, I don't really care much for solo albums of bands. You know, whether it be the Beatles or Pink Floyd or Queen. You know, when you compare them from the seed from which they've been born, they're always lesser. They're always lesser than, you know. It's like Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, isn't it, and all that stuff. You know, it's very rare for a band to have a breakout solo thing. You know, very rare. It's very rare. No, I'm not standing on my leg again. I've just had a coffee. Make it so I guess there are a lot of people dancing around Stonehenge. That was this morning. They should all be over. They should all be home by now. Should all be indoors. Runar says, liked your video about the 189 quid Roger Waters vinyl box. They ran out of ideas. What more Pink Floyd related stuff is there to cash in? Well, it was shocking. I mean, it's like 50 quid a disc, you know, and it's like, and you know, when you think about the album itself, how long is it? It's close to an hour. You know, it's like 20 minutes a side, isn't it? It's like, what? It must really break up the flow of the album. And again, when it's an album like that, it's a concept album. I didn't go into details in the thing, in the video. I might talk about it again. I might do another Pink Floyd video tomorrow. You never know. It's very lucrative. Get lots of views, you see, because it's all people want. But yeah, as it's a concept album and it is a continuous piece of music with no natural breaks, I believe. Cutting it 4 ways seems brutal, and it seems like an act of vandalism. And you're paying £189 for the privilege. You know, it's a bit like that toolbox set that was out, the Fear Inoculum one. I think that was 5 discs, and you just go, "Come on, really? Why are we doing this? This is getting ridiculous now, you know." But hey, you know, if you keep buying it, they're going to keep doing it. But I'll tell you what was interesting. Getting the record store day stuff was a lot easier on Monday. Normally, record store day happens, and I have to wait a week for it to go live. You know, maybe on the following Saturday, and it can be a bit of a scramble. It's usually like, I don't know, 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. on a following Saturday, and it used to be a right ball ache trying to get stuff. You know, people would sell out, I guess, flip it on eBay and whatnot. And it dropped on 8 p.m. on Monday. I was done by 2 minutes past 8. Got in, got the 2 records I wanted, and I was out again. Easy. So I think that tells you that maybe people are a bit bored with it, or, you know, a bit fed up with it. Again, I could be wrong. Pegasus says, when's the Darren greatest hits? Well, there's already a compilation. It's called Easy Listening. You know, but for me to do greatest hits, it'd probably need to be about a 5, 10, 20 disc set. Again, I know you joke. I have thought about doing another like kind of thing. You know, maybe compiling some stuff, things I think are good, and maybe doing some alternate mixing stuff on it. I don't know. But, you know, nobody cares for what I do, so it's very hard to get motivated. I'm just, you know, doing what I do, and just keep making noodles that I'm stringing together, and if anybody likes it, well, then that's fair dues, isn't it? You know, so which is what I've always done. But it seems funnier because I used to sell a lot more music, you know, back in 2005, 2006 than I do now. So, and there seems to be more people online, more people around, more people aware of me. I wasn't doing any of this, so I think the more well known I've got, the less people want to buy my music. That's not good. That's terrible. But there you go. I think they're trying to tell me something. Just says, how about that guitar tech growing as Easy Top Beard in 3 months and being a true old boy in the band? Yeah, sure. I have no idea what you're talking about. Christian says, I've read any Nietzsche. Well, only like kind of the crib notes. I've watched like documentaries and, you know, and the Idiot's Guide to Nietzsche, you know. Ubermensch and everything. Uber, didn't he invent the Uber? I think Nietzsche invented the whole idea of the Uber. So yeah, he proposed that morality. Down on Morality Farm, all the little ducks go grunt and howl, on Morality Farm, morality even. You cretin. He proposed that morality, right or wrong, are a construct of society, and in order to achieve greatness, the superior being must reject these limitations. Yeah, that's called being a psychopath. Okay, let me do a thought experiment. You're out walking. You're the only person around, and you hear a baby crying, I don't know, in the gutter, and it's naked and covered in dirt. What do you do? What do you do? Okay, another thought experiment. You're walking. You hear an animal in distress. You find it trapped in a trap. Do you kill the animal and put it out of its misery, or do you release it from the trap, take it home, and nurse it back to health? This is it. These are the questions, isn't it? These are the questions. Again, it's what we are as people. There is a reason we have these rules. There's a reason we have created societies, because this is how we've naturally formed. This is how we've naturally bonded. You know, it goes back. Look at primates. You know, look at chimpanzees. They have social groups, and they police those social groups. And if anybody misbehaves, they get kicked out. You know, and we've kind of an extension of that. And it is almost a primal thing. Our humanity is a primal thing, and when you start rejecting basic tenets of decency, you become, well, a psychopath. So, you know. Page says, bands trying to milk money from their fans with those anniversary box sets. Yeah, there's a lot of it out there, isn't there? Mankapoot says, how many people have gone to Addict to search for old Case Bush for cassettes, do you think? Well, I never owned any. I don't know if the missus might have had a Kate Bush. I think she had the whole story on cassette, but we flogged that years ago. But yeah, they're doing a repressing of the second vinyl box set, apparently. Yeah, woo, because it's got that album in it with that song on it. This is how fucking stupid the record bosses are, right? They're going to bring out a 90 quid box set with how many albums in it? I think is it 3 albums? I don't know. We'll have to get it off the shelf, because it's got an album on it with one song on it. If they were smart, they'd be bringing out cassettes of, you know, Hands of Love, or cassette singles of Running Up That Hill. There's many ways of cashing in, but they're so dim. They're not. Or what they could do is they could bring out a USB drive that looks like a cassette, or looks like a Walkman with the cassette in it, and then they could charge whatever they wanted, and it plays that song, nothing but that song. There's loads of marketing things, but they are so dim, it ain't even funny. But then I'm too good for this world. Too good. Where are we? Grant says, at least Hackett had Anthony Phillips' solo works separate them from Genesis. Do you agree? Well, they're different. I mean, I was going to mention Hackett with my little thing because, you know, I think they are the exception. Genesis are the exception to the rule, but then they are superior in almost every way, aren't they? Because you've got Phil Collins. I mean, just look at Phil Collins. Go on, look at him. Look at his little face. Look at Phil Collins and look at Genesis. You know, it's very, very rare that, well, except for Wham, I suppose. But then Andrew Ridgeley versus George Michael. It's not a fair fight. But they are the exceptions to the rule. And of course, they do operate in, you know, well, Anthony Phillips operates in a different kind of environment to Genesis. You know, went into soundtrack, you know, music, and you know, went in that area and went back to school and learnt about actual music. You know, he went back and studied the damn thing. So, you know, it's very different than comparing it to, you know, or I could be just talking a complete load of bollocks. I probably am. That's what I'm here for. Peter Christian says, God damn, Emmerdale is full of hot women. I wouldn't know. I've never watched Emmerdale. Christian says Stonehenge where the Banshees dwell, indeed, and they do live well. Pink's arse soap, things are going well. Yeah, got a doctor's appointment on Monday. Hooray! Christian says, sick of all the overpriced vinyl reissue bullshit. I don't buy any of them. Well, again, you know, the reissues. I've got some things. Yeah, because they're bringing out, like they've done repressings of Bowie, right? Now, when the Bowie reissue, when they first did these Bowie vinyl pressings in 2015, they were very reasonable. They were like $17.99, and if you scattered around, I picked a few up for like $12.99, and it was nice. But now they're all being reissued again for £30, and it's like, not for me. I'll just get a spunky copy from eBay. You know, and I think the bubble is kind of deflating somewhat. And a lot of these reissues now are all touching like the £25-30 mark. And these are single albums, right? Single albums. And it's like, oh, come on. Do we have to do this? This is really getting... Well, it's inflation, it's this, it's that. And it's like, you might as well just still go and buy CDs now, you know? Because... those are at a level where vinyl was 10 years ago. You know, there was a real nice sweet spot in vinyl around, you know, 2011. Well, it was probably before that, but I only got back into it. It was only when we came back to here, not here, over there, and because of everything, because of the crash and everything, I kind of had everything. I didn't have my record decks set up, you know, like you do, because... And when we moved, I bought myself a new record deck, because my other one had been scratched by all the brick dust and everything. You'd be surprising just what damage a car smashing into your home can do. And it was crap. It ruined my old record player. It was just an Iowa, I think it was, automatic one, you know, like that. You could press it and go... And if I fell asleep, it would take the needle off. I like that. They don't do many of those, you know, these days. They don't do nice, expensive automatic record players unless they're really stupidly expensive. Anyway, I'm getting off the topic. So I bought myself the new one. I think it was a TDK one, and I started scouting around for vinyl on eBay, and there was some good stuff, and I got some really nice records for good prices. And now those records are worth stupid amounts of money, and it's only been 10 years, and you know, it's crazy. You know, I still thought it was expensive because I was paying like 10, maybe £15 for a record, and they're now like worth, you know, more than that, obviously. And that was a lovely sweet spot. And now it's like, now CDs are in that position. If you look around, mind you, there are some CDs. You look at them and you go, why are they asking that much money? You know, but you can be clever. You can find cheap stuff. You scout around. But yeah, everything is overpriced bullshit. Pink says, winter solstice, it's pretty cold. Put your drawers on, winter drawers on. Anne says, you're either a ranting buffoon or a genius. Little from column A, little from column B, I think. I've never made any secret of me being a genius and a buffoon. You know me, idiot savant. I think that's probably the most adequate description of me. Fasana says, your coffee time videos are one of my better sources of news. I've got some good stuff tomorrow. You're going to love it. Runar says, is there a set date for the end of Genesis reunion? Well, I think it's finished, isn't it? It's gone. It's over, Runar. Poor Phil. It seems no dignity for him to be wheeled out on stage. They should have wheeled him out. They should have had Peter Gabriel on the last one. They should have got Peter Gabriel to wheel him out on stage. And everyone would have lost their shit, and then Peter Gabriel should have just gone and then walked off again. Could you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Okay, I've got an even better one, right? Imagine the lights come up, right? And Steve Hackett's there tuning Daryl Sturm's guitar, right? And then Peter Gabriel wheels out Phil Collins. And everyone goes, that's the reunion. And then they both just wave and then exit either way. And then the rest of the band come on and they do Genesis. They do Invisible Touch. And Peter Gabriel and Steve Hackett wave to each other from the wings, smiling at a job well done. That's what they should have done. Page says, what's the difference between sociopaths and psychopaths? I don't think you're allowed to walk on the psychopath. I don't really care. A sociopath, well, I think they have just a complete disregard for the mechanics of society, don't they? Whereas a psychopath tends to serve themselves. I think that's it. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I'm just winging it. I'm trying to hide my own psychopathy. Anne says, you do know they are a satirical look at the Daily Mail, the worst rag in the Western world. No, it isn't the worst. That's not the worst one. It's the best news site because it's free. You don't pay any money to look at it. It's great, and they have all the best stories. Like, where else would you see that man hit that crocodile with a frying pan? Don't get that on the Times. And if you do, it's behind a paywall. And I ain't paying a paywall for the Times, so there you go. That's what you get. If the Daily Sport had a website as good as the Mail, I'd be on there. But don't knock it. Don't knock the Mail. Don't knock it. You've got to remember, the online version of the Mail is very different from the print version. It's a better source of news. If you want real, and the sidebar of shame. Liz Early was 57 the other week. She was in her bikini celebrating. You know what I mean, lads. You know what I mean. Daily Mail. For all my Liz Hurley news, I have to go there. Grant says, best of Darren Lock, 12 tracks, remix Darren Lock would be great. I know there's a lot to go through, but it would be excellent for a sample of your musical. And I would purchase. I love you, Grant. You're my favourite. Well, again, if you haven't, I'm going to... Grant's given me the opportunity to do some shameless self-promotion. Because, I'll send you the money in the post, Grant. I'll send you the money in the post. Hold it. I don't even know my own web address. This one's a freebie. Well, they're all free at the moment. They're all free to download if you're so interested. But back in 2005. God, that was 17 years ago. Isn't that 17 years ago? Fucking hell. I did easy listening. And you can listen to this and you download it for nothing. Or you can give a little donation if you wish. All the stuff's there, I think, are like that. And it gives a little indicator of what I was doing between 1999 and 2005. Unfortunately, I've been a bit busier since then. Some of it's been good. Some of it's been pretty bad. I'm my own worst critic, mind. So but yeah, go and have a look at that. Runar says coffee time is great stuff. I'm glad somebody enjoys it. It's just I get my videos deregulated every day as soon as I put them out. YouTube says this isn't suitable for all advertisers, and I go, why not? I don't understand. And I have to appeal, and then 2 or 3 days later they go, you're right, it was fine. And that means any traction I would have got, not that I would get any traction, not that I'd make any money out of those videos, but whatever micro penny I would have made out of them, I ain't getting. So I do those for free, Not that I expect to make money out of everything I do, but you kind of got to be really cynical with YouTube now. And I've kind of, like I said, I'm going to have to do a daily Pink Floyd video if I want to get any traction. And it's the same on my other channel. I mean, I did a guitar, I've done a couple of guitar videos. And normally guitar videos do really well. Dead as a dodo. Cannot get any action on my channels. I think, like I say, you get a bit paranoid and you think, But I see what they did with my son's channel, so maybe they can do it to everyone. You get the feeling that you're swimming against the tide, and you just do what you do. And there's loads of things I'd like to do, but I don't know if it's worth investing my time in it, because I'll likely just get 100 views or 200 views. There was a few sketches I wanted to do, but like my cherries one, lucky if I get 300 views, and I don't think that's fair. And that seems to be all I'm good for, unless I do a Pink Floyd video. Mind you, the Sex Pistols one did well, though they got a little flack because I said the name wrong, because I'm an idiot. I'm old, I do everything live and I don't edit anything. You guys understand me, but people from outside go, you got the names wrong. So I had to go in and edit the names out using the YouTube editor, which is like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. But there you go. But I'm glad you enjoy coffee time when I do it. Thank you. I love you, man. Fasano says, oh sorry. Oh no, yeah, Anne says Genesis finished. Fasano says, wasn't Nietzsche a psychopath? I think so. Patch says, it's bad when a song from over 30 years ago gets to #1. Yeah, that's going to be my main thrust of my Porcupine Tree review when it airs on, I guess it'll be this Friday. I'm going to make so many new friends on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm so looking forward to making so many new friends. It's going to be great. But this is how serious it is. And I wish people understood what a poor condition the music industry is. It's dead. It's dead on arrival, and that's a shame. And our youth are lost. They are lost. Oh yeah, there are some kids making music, but to a lot of kids it means nothing to them. They're too busy TikToking and worrying about pronouns and the right flags, and that's their thing now. A lot of the ideology, the identity politics that we're seeing is their new hobby. I hear it from my daughter in my daughter's school, and it's really sad because they're not having a good time with it. Though, my kids are alright because they've got video games. Well, my daughter for the last what day was it? Saturday? No, we got the scissors on Sunday. So Sunday, 3 days she's been making a character that she drew into a stuffed toy, and she finished it tonight. Fantastic, a great thing. So she's busy. She's like me. She likes creating things. So she's going to be as poor as fuck when she grows up. I try to beat her creativity out of her. I no, try to dissuade her. Try to convince her that everything she did was a waste of time. Break her spirit. But no, she's a creative like her old man. That's a joke. I've always encouraged her. I was joking, but I do joke to her. Oh, Verity, you're going to be poor like me. I was hoping you'd be smart and you'd figure it out, but but there you go. That's what goes on, isn't it? But the kids don't get the music, kids. Anne says you need to check out the Anthony Phillips Rutherford demo, musical box, playing 12 strings. And I've got a fucking box set, you fool. I own it all. Jesus Christ. I was listening to that when the archive, when the archive thing that he brought out years ago. When was that out? In the 90s? That's before your fucking internet, mate, went mainstream. I was already there. Jesus Christ. Why don't you teach your granny to suck eggs while you're at it, huh? And says, having a big splurge on 10cc at the moment. Loving all that art rock and stuff from that era. Named by convicted paedophile Jonathan King. 10cc. He said it was the average amount a man ejaculates. There you go. I've ruined 10cc for you now. Thank you. You're welcome. Life is a minestrone after all. Russell's in. He says, hi. Where the hell have you been? You're late. It's gone midnight. What have you been up to? Cushion says, I would imagine back in the day, a lot of average Joes heard Kate Bush singles on the radio and bought the album and said, what the f is this? No, we all said, what the fuck is this when we saw her on TV. And then we grew to love her, Go and look at her BBC special. I've got it on the hard drive. I'd upload it. I've got a lovely digital copy, because I put it on iPlayer and I yoinked it. Peter Gabriel's on it. But you just go and watch that. In those days, the TV people didn't worry about pleasing the public. It wasn't about, we want to include everyone in this. Inclusivity. When you go for inclusivity, you interest nobody, right? And they just said, Kate Bush, she's interesting. Let's give her an hour of TV time and let her do what she wanted. And she did. And she created a truly bonkers, hour of TV. And you used to get a lot of that back in the day with music and also whatnot. I mean, I've got a great documentary, Laurie Anderson, The Human Face. She was given an hour, and she does this great doc. I'm going to upload it one day when I get around to covering it, because I don't think it's out there. And it's a really, truly fascinating documentary that Laurie Anderson helmed. But we did that kind of thing. We don't do that now. And if you do it, it's tucked away on a digital arts channel, like Charles Hazelwood's doing at the moment, the reinvention of the orchestra. That would have been on mainstream telly back in the day. Now anything interesting is in a digital cul-de-sac, and you've got to fucking search for it, like a needle in a haystack. And it's tiring to find interesting stuff. But yeah, when Kate Bush first came out, we all went, what the actual fuck? But we were excited by it. We weren't repelled by it. It was like, ooh, this exotic, intriguing, what is she doing? And she was only, 19 at the time. And again, I think for some, sexuality or sensuality was a draw. I've never found her attractive in that respect, and I think I'm odd. I'd feel deeply offended with myself if I looked at Kate Bush in that way. I'm in awe of her intellect, the same as I am with Laurie Anderson. And I said it before, if they called me up in the middle of the night, I'd head over and I'd just sit at their knee and let them tell me their all their secrets, because I need to know their knowledge. And that was the interesting thing. We don't have intelligent people anymore. We have stupid people pretending to be intelligent. We have people like Stephen Fry and Brian Cox. Oh, fuck. Stephen Hawking dies, what do we get instead? Brian Cox. Ugh. Really? He's no Carl Sagan, is he? He played on D. Ream's Things Can Only Get Better, for fuck's sake. There you go. Tom Pink says, splurge on time. Oh, yeah. Fitting the origin of the band name. There we go, he does now. Peter Cushing says, unpopular opinion, maybe the majority of Bowie's albums are very patchy. Yeah, they are. He's a patchy artist because he liked singles. He liked doing the single. I think he was more interested in the killer single than an album. This is why, for me, albums like Low, I think Low's probably the best because it is so weird and wonderful. And there's always a point. But then again, I do like Hunky Dory. I think Hunky Dory still holds up. I cannot stand Ziggy Stardust. I was explaining it to the missus because it was the anniversary the other week, wasn't it? And they was bringing out another version of it. And I said, I just don't like that record. It's crude and it lacks the sophistication of what he was doing on Hunky Dory. He kind of went backwards and I just, I think that's why he had to break up the band, afterwards. But yeah, I can see why you'd think that. You know, some of his albums do like kind of run out of steam. But I don't think Bowie is an album artist. I think he is a singles artist. You know, Let's Dance. You know, that and China Girl. That's what you want. You don't listen to the rest of the record, do you? Yeah. Russell says, Darren, how many pairs of jeans could you have on at any one time? I don't know. I've never tried it. Why would I try that? That sounds weird. What, you think I go shoplifting? No, I buy my jeans. Well, the fact that I've got skinny jeans on, and I've got some jeans that I used to fit into, they're quite big. I could probably fit into quite a few pairs of jeans now, because you know, I'm not a fat fuck like I used to be. I still need to lose more weight because of my diabetes, but it's very hard. You know, I've got to like 13 stone. I mean, I got to 12 and a half, but I was taking 3 metformin a day, and I was probably going to die because it made me feel very ill, because that's what the doctor told me to do. And then I read the instruction on the packet. It said take 2. I've been taking 3 all the time. But hey, good for losing weight. But you know, I don't see myself as a big eater. Yeah, I'm not somebody who eats a lot, as it were. You know, I don't even have breakfast anymore now, because you know, breakfast cereals contain too much sugar. I will do when it's winter. I'll probably have porridge again, you know, or whatnot. But in the summer, I could not eat. I could just stop eating. But I have to eat because the missus makes me do it. She encourages me to. But you know, if she wasn't around, I'd stop eating completely, to be honest. See how far I could go without having anything to eat. That'd be interesting. But when you're the cook, you cook for other people. They expect you to sit down and eat with them. So you know, it's kind of an expectation, isn't it? Renee says, I buy myself more CDs than vinyl these days. CDs are cheaper, sound better, and take up much more less space. Indeed. Peter Cushing says, I have nothing to declare but my genius. Indeed. Mankipoot says, the Seaman story is a myth. I don't think so. 5, yeah, could do 6. Pink says, I choose to believe that myth. So do I. I think I read it in like Q magazine, and you know, the reporters wouldn't lie about these things, would they? Cushion said, only to look at the Daily Mail for the pictures and the horrific comments. I hope you haven't seen any of mine. No, it's on Facebook. Russell says 6. I don't know, depends on the genes. Yeah, guess so. Very strange, Russell. I think Russell might be fake Russell. I think Russell's lost his mind. Because, you know, the fake person, they come in and they ask these really weird questions, and it's like, yeah, sure, I'll entertain them. Yeah, 6 pairs of jeans. Yeah, whatever. Oh, boy. Anyway. Anne says, could I live without the internet? Yeah, why not? I think Anne's not real either. I think he's fake. Why do you want me to? Offer me enough money. Like I said, if I get those jobs I've been applying to, then you won't see me anymore. It's going to be great. I will be gone. Runar says, why do honest reviews make so many Stephen Wilson porcupine tree fans, I'll get it right in a minute, angry? It's just reviewers' perspective. There's a lot of it. It's not just them, it's Marillion fans. People forget what the press used to be like. There's a guy on Facebook, I don't follow him, but he comes up on my suggestions and he keeps posting some very interesting Marillion reviews from the 80s, you know, when they first broke, and they were despised. And, you know, and it's really interesting that, you know, the music press could write what they actually thought, because in those days, advertising, you know, and selling actual magazines meant they weren't relying on keeping musicians and advertisers happier, so they could actually say what they wanted. And nowadays, everybody's got to be, oh, be kind, hashtag be kind, except you, because we hate you, because you said something we don't like. You know, I think it's an endemic situation that we're seeing. People, children and young people, and the various generations, as they get younger, are being bred to have no critical faculty at all. They've been taught to accept everything for what it is, and to condemn certain things. These are bad thoughts. It's almost, you know, like programming. these are the bad people because they think something different to you. Rather than listening to everyone and trying to make up your own mind, we're indoctrinating kids into, left versus right and right versus left, rather than, hey, let's listen to everyone. And so when you come on here and you go, God, that record, it stinks, and da-da-da-da, they lose their fucking shit. And then they say genius things like, oh, what have you done then? What music have you done? And I go, go and help yourself. Oh, yeah, but, Stephen Wilson, he sells more records than you. And I go, yeah, but I never attempted to have a band. This is just what I do as a hobby, It's just, I enjoy making music. I do it to entertain myself. Maybe when I was a younger man, maybe I should have, tried to get a band together, but it never really struck me as something I could do, I never thought that anyone would want to listen to it. So, I just use the internet, and if people want to listen, then they can listen. But don't come to me and ask me what I've done, because I've done loads of different things, And I think we're all allowed to be critical of things. And I think we're allowed to be positive, and I think we're allowed to be negative, and we're allowed to be middle of the road, and and we're allowed to have fun with it. And a lot of people don't have any sense of humour. No sense of humour. And it's really boring. And people are boring. People are fucking boring. There you go. I've said it. Grant says, I just bought Easy Listening. Thank you, Darren. Have a great week. You don't need to buy it, Grant. It's free. Enjoy it, You don't have to give me money. Cushion says, it's funny with the death of rock and guitar music in the mainstream, and YouTube land is overrun with Guitar Gear channels. I've never seen so much guitar-related products available before. But this is really interesting, because there's... I watch a few guitar channels because, I'm a masochist. The thing is I'm not that interested. I'm interested in certain, limited-y kind of... I want to try all the Fender ones. That's why I got the Mustang. That's why I tried the Jazzmaster, sold the Jazzmaster. Because it wasn't, I didn't like the colour of it. I wanted to get one with a sunburst because I'm such an aesthete. But, I watch them because I find them interesting. I find the whole relic guitar fascinating. That's bonkers. But there's a couple. There's one shop in America, and they talk about how much they get guitars in, and these are thousands and thousands of dollars. Gibson. I mean, I couldn't go near these Gibsons. I couldn't even afford to look at them. And this stuff comes in and goes out. There must be, I imagine there's warehouses of guitars. They must have storage containers where people own all these guitars. I don't need all these guitars. I probably only need, half of them. Not even that. You need a 12-string, you need an acoustic, you need a nylon, you need a bass. You might want a fretless bass for a little bit of flavour. You might want a semi-acoustic. Again, certain guitars do certain things, so you might want a baritone, but do you need all of these? No, you don't need all these guitars. You're just doing it to annoy the audience, aren't you, Darren? Yes, I am. Ever since Fish called me a failed musician, I thought I'll collect as many guitars as I can just to annoy the audience, just to irritate them, just to provoke them. That's right, that's what I did. It was all part of the plan. For I have sold many, many more guitars. It's funny, when I go through my camera roll or through old pictures, I go, oh God, I forgot I owned that. There was that one. There's that one. Yeah, so funny. You had to be there. But yeah, there's a lot of guitars out there, isn't there? So many guitars. Dominic says, hi Darren, long time since I've tuned into a live one. Hope you're well. I am, hope you're well too. Well, still type 2 diabetic, but I'm going to the doctors on Monday. My doctor's surgery, I've concluded, can't find their arse with both hands, for I phoned up and the lady said, oh yeah, you've got to come in. I went, yeah. She said, you've got to have your feet examined. I said, but I just had that done. She said, was it before April? And I went, yeah, I think it was March. She said, you've got to have them examined again. I said, but she said I wouldn't have to see her for a year, but that my feet had improved. And she went, you've got to book another one. But you can't do it now because she's not around. I went, oh. Can you come in on Monday? I went, yeah. And I went, who am I seeing? She went, the diabetic nurse. Okay, not the foot lady. No, diabetic nurse. So, okay. That'll be good then. That'll be good. It's like, what? The only reason I found out I had an appointment is because I tried to get some testing strips and they wouldn't send me any because they said I need to see the diabetic nurse. They've stopped me prescriptions. I don't think that's very fair, is it? Why can't they just text me and say, Darren, you need to come in for an appointment? If they'd have just texted me with an appointment, come in on Tuesday, I'd have come in, you know? Bloody hell, these people. Wish you'd never asked now. Don't ask. Don't ask. Dominic says, saw Queen Adam Lambert last night and was super impressed, but not feeling as great today mentally. Hoping you're a good distraction with some chilled out chat. Probably got COVID, mate. Did you see it at O2? We will rock you. We will rock you. Doing it in stereo. Adam Lambert doesn't do it in stereo. I do. Russell says, can you imagine a word that doesn't exist? Yeah. Russells. That doesn't exist. And says, I accidentally retracted my comment. I said how hot I find Kate Bush because she's hot. Well, that's good for you. No, I can't do it. Sorry. I find her interesting, you know. Find her fascinating. But there was an interview on, I guess it would have been Old Grey Whistle Test, or maybe it was just called Whistle Test. It was the 80s version, 85, and I think Mark Ellen and that. And you can see these male presenters just leaning into her, like, you know, it's like they want to touch her. You know, it's really evident that they're like, hello, Kate. And it's really, really disconcerting, you know. And they always ask her really dumb questions, you know. Oh, your hair's so nice. I don't say that, I made that up. But, oh dear. But you should always retract. You know, that's my rule. Always withdraw. Padge says, I think postmodernism is dead. I think everything is dead. Dominic says, had a nasty fall in the other day. All right now. Well, you know what the trick is? Is not to put so much water in it. That's an alcoholic joke. If you was really pissed, you wouldn't have felt the fall because you'd been all loose, you see. You know? Reminds me of that story about George Michael falling out of that car on the motorway at speed, and he bounced along like a rubber ball because he was so doped off his tits. He was nice and relaxed. Yeah? You want to be George Michael toasted. There you go, because then you can fall out of a car on the motorway, I think it was the M1, and bounce along the hard shoulder as if nothing had happened. And says, I reckon Garrett Munton is on the chat as a lurker. Well, that's a shame, because if he was in here, he'd find out that I've made him moderator, and he can block him himself now. You see, funny that, but he's not here, so he can't do it. Dominic said, it's not me. That's nice. I'm not Garrett, if that's what you're asking. Okay, Dominic, never said you was. And says, your thoughts on Tubular Bells 2 in 30 seconds. I think it's better than Tubular Bells 1. I like it. Russell says, wait, dodged the important questions, Darren. I'm starting to think you're not the man the people voted. Yeah, all right, Russell. All right. Yeah, like you're really him. Dominic's having a freak out. Red says, do you know the band Faith Healers? No. I don't know, Dominic. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's all getting a bit weird, isn't it? Padge says, everyone is entitled to an opinion. Absolutely. Except the wrong ones, and the ones that Russell's got. Red says, he's given me $5. That's very kind of you. You didn't have to, but I say thank you. Remember, folks, don't be tight bastards. Be generous like Red. Red is a wonderful person. He's full of the milk of human kindness. It overflows. It overflows within his veins. He's friend to small animals. Children, their faces light up when they see him walking down the street. Women desire him from a distance because he's a wonderful human being. He smells nice too. And he just gave me $5, and that makes him my favourite person at the moment. But not only is he generous, he's incredibly wise. He says, you and I made the right choice. I've seen pros washing dishes and friends sleeping in bunk beds in their 30s. Well, I think he means musicians, not pros. When you say pros to me, I think prostitutes. So there you go. Well, again, I was never, I've always just enjoyed making stuff, like my daughter, just make stuff. And before that, I used to write. I used to write stories and books and things, and then music, because I could do writing really, because I'm good at writing. Because I used to be paid to write back in the day, I took no challenge at writing books anymore, which is kind of one of my ambitions. It's like write novels. That was what I wanted to do as a kid. But instead, I do music because I find it really tough. I find it really challenging to do it and to actualise it and make it, a thing. It's hard for me. It's not something that comes naturally, and I have to work at it. Yeah, it takes me a lot of work to be this shit, folks. But no, it's it's something that I find a challenge, whereas writing is easy. Though I keep having the urge to write a novel, so I might start writing that novel, fiction. I've got a great novel. I wrote a script last September, a film script that can never be filmed because it's so controversial, but it's really good. And I thought, well, what I could do is I could turn that into a book, and I could self-publish it and see if I can cause a whole load of controversy with it, because it's a satire, and it's really, the idea is just, it's just really good, and I can't tell you about it because one, it's really good, and two, you'd go, what the actual fuck, Darren? you would go, what the actual fuck? It's so out there, I can't ever tell you about it. And says Russell Watkins, and Renee says, I'm going in, Darren, thanks for the chat. Well, thank you for popping by, it's been lovely having you. And says, in fact, if I fired my neurons, I could make one up right now. Okay then. I do think these guys are... Oh look, Pegasus is in. How's your groove been? I don't know, Pegasus. Apparently you've already been in tonight. Oh boy. I'm glad we're all having so much fun. And says, I don't rate Darren's music, to be honest. Like he's chatting about her. Well, that's just fine, Andy. Well, I think that you're going to go now, because, that's just rude. Oh, where's it all going? Oh dear, what's happened? It's all gone a bit wobbly. Do. Bye bye, and bye bye. You can go. You can fuck off. I've had enough of you. He's from Camden, maybe. Red says, thanks for your time. No, it's all right. I'm just here. I'm here whenever you want me. I'm like the prostitute on the street corner, just waiting for you to come along, and I'll give you a good time. So I'm just here. Dominic says, for reference, the messages about having a fall and some other spammy messages about being Garrett are not me. The spam bot appears to have cloned my identity tonight. Somewhat alarming. Well, that's nice, Dominic. Yeah, well, look, the guy does it. It's just gibberish. It's it's what we do. It's what they do. And I'm supposed to sit here. It's fun. I know Red's real because he just gave me a £5. And the others can just jibber jabber as much as they want. It puts my view count up. This is the great thing, is they help me by coming on with their multiple sock accounts. They just give me views, and so it helps. Every little helps. I wish I could give more. You don't have. No, it's enough. It's enough, Red. It's okay. Dominic says, state of the world. Did have a fall a few weeks back. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully hopefully you feel better. And it is odd. Everything's odd. Christian says, I had an idea for a script about a shark who travels back in time to destroy an evil empire. Yeah, I had one where the shark goes back in time to stop the guys blowing up the shark in Jaws. How about that? But he's a Nazi shark. That's the twist. Turns out he was Hitler's shark. See It's that little twist. You've got to just add that little twist to it. You know? If you can do that, it's a little twist. Get Ryan Johnson to direct it. Yeah, what do you reckon? Anyway, I've hurt you enough. Jason's real, he says. I don't believe that. I think none of you are real. Scott says, adverts in your live stream. How did I get away with that? That's because I just pressed the adverts button. I did that because the fake accounts made me do it. Because every time there's a fakey, I'm going to fire an advert off. I don't normally do it, you see. I very rarely fire an advert off. Because, you know, I don't want to upset everyone. Because everyone gets really mortally offended that bills need to be paid. But I will get, if I'm lucky, a micro penny from that advert. But anyway, it is... Well, I could do another 9 minutes. Wouldn't that be Eva Prawn? I see what you did there. Red says, I'm glad you know I'm real. Oh, you called me Daryl. That means you're fake. Because only the fake one calls me Daryl. Why don't you call me Colin and be done with it, huh? Oh dear. It's been a long night. Do-do-do-do-do. Doodle-do. Mind you, I've been on an hour and a half, so I can go. I've done my hour and a half. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully the weird multiple accounts haven't put you off. I will end up just blocking everyone eventually, and it'll just be me sitting here. And maybe the people who are the members, you know, like Renee and Grant. You know, because they're members, and I know that they're members. But yeah, you know, if you get spoofed, you know, there are ways we can combat that, but you need to let me know, you know, if there is a way. You know. So anyway, thanks for watching. It's been fun as always, and thanks for those of you who aren't, you know, mucking around. It doesn't matter. Carry on. It puts the view count on. Puts the view count up. You're doing me a favour. Yeah, carry on. More. We need more fake accounts to get more views, and then you'll make me a YouTube megastar, and that can only be a good thing. So anyway, thanks for that. I'm off. We'll do this all again. Shane says bye. See you, Shane. And Red Saw Who, he says, Saw Who, they rocked. All the albums have something good, not consistency. Early albums, Peak, Tommy, Quad, like them better than Zeppelin. Oh yeah, Zeppelin are absolute dog shit, aren't they? And Grant said it was a great live stream. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I don't know what I'm doing, but then that's why you come here. Remember, folks, if you can't be good, be careful. But more importantly, please don't tell your mother.